Hey, good morning everyone. Jared McGovern here with the National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium in good old Dubuque, Iowa. Today, we're about to embark on a conservation field day exploring conservation projects all across Dubuque County that focus on urban conservation and advocacy for native landscaping and pesticide reduction, conservation agriculture, especially regenerative agriculture and practices meant to improve soil health, and community resiliency and natural infrastructure. The Mississippi River Network and their One Mississippi River Citizen Campaign, who are funding this initiative, is a 10-state network of organizations that are dedicated to improving the health of the Mississippi River and its watershed. Today here in Dubuque County, we're going to be checking out some really cool partners and some absolutely amazing people and fantastic projects. This is going to be a good day. Please join me. Let's become river stewards. That's a greenhouse. We got some really good growth of butterfly milkweed, sand coreopsis, some of which is going to be going to the Mowing the Monarchs program.
We have 60 people involved who really want to rebalance their relationship to nature. We have 47 specific gardens. We have coaches, we have the Facebook page. It involves urban habitat, it involves soil and environmental health, our health. Rebalancing and realigning ourselves so that nature works for us instead of us working against nature. Wish us luck and please help. Thank you.
That was amazing. Next stop, City of Dubuque, Natural Infrastructure, Branch Creek Flood Mitigation. Let's go.
Welcome to the Branch Greenway. Just listen. That to me is so powerful, just running water in an urban environment. This whole thing started out because of a flooding issue. We daylighted what was a buried creek over 100 years ago, and there was flooding because people were building right up next to it. And so the city council considered what to do. Because we went a more natural way with daylighting, it was going to be less expensive. We were going to be able to get financial assistance. It can have the natural processes as breaking down, sequestering nutrients like in sediment. It's also going to improve the environment. It's also going to create usable green space for these communities that might not otherwise have it.
Dubuque's all about sustainability. The mayor established that in the city council in 2008. Each component of this Branch corridor is how can we make it a little bit more sustainable than the average project. So one of those is the green alley. We have 240 alleys in the city of Dubuque. To date, we have converted about 80 of them to green alleys. As we convert all 240 alleys, now we're making a difference as to how much water is actually going into the ground and soaking in versus just running off into the street, hitting a concrete storm sewer and ending up down here. You can really see a dramatic difference both in the look of the alley, but also how people care for their backyards. Here we have 22nd Street, we have Elm Street. This intersection's known during a good 2-inch rain to fill up a foot thick or more, and the water needs to go someplace. So now we pump the water up through the fountains. So that's basically natural creek water. There's families coming down. People are bringing their lunch, and there's people with dogs hopping on the rocks. You can, through good architecture, create a place of gathering for people.
We also created this community garden. The intent is they can actually be consumed by the neighbors who are in the area.
We're going to have our first, hopefully annual pollinator week out here on the Branch. We heard about mowing the monarchs this morning, so the city's trying to do our part and add to those layers of sustainability throughout the city.
I'm Kristen Hill. I'm a communication specialist for the city of Dubuque. My role is to really make sure the community is using this space, and we're using the space as like an outdoor classroom. I get to partner with Jared to get the 2,500 fat bucket mussel silos in the Branch here. Having the mussels here has allowed us to partner with local schools. We want to teach them from a young age that they can be active in their community to help keep our environment healthy and clean.
Every place where stormwater flows into this area, we have installed some sort of system to capture pollutants. The boulders, those were all strategically placed to promote fish, a way to change the flow. And then there's a thing called a lunker that goes actually underneath that fish can go in, get in the shade, and just provide habitat.
This is an example of natural infrastructure. This is a nature-based solution to a problem that the city was experiencing with extreme flooding events. This not only provides habitat, it not only mitigates against extreme flooding, this provides buku health benefits to the community down here as well. Brain health, physical health are tied to the health of our ecosystems. Thank you. This has been amazing. Now we're going to look at a Good Neighbor Iowa yard. Let's do it. Hey everyone, welcome to my house. I moved to this house in January. Folks came, knocked on my door, said, we're here to treat your yard. I'm like, no, you're not. I choose to manage without the use of pesticides. I am a registered Good Neighbor through the Good Neighbor Iowa program at the Center for Energy and Environmental Education at the University of Northern Iowa.
The mission of Good Neighbor Iowa is to reduce urban pesticide use, working together just to educate the public about the harms of pesticide exposure, particularly to children, pets, pollinators, water quality, biodiversity in general.
There are a couple different areas in my yard that are under development as new pollinator habitat. What you see in front of you are two of those projects. This planter right here is now home to over 27 species of wildflower plugs that I had started. And what this is going to become is a demonstration using only native plants that can be sourced from local nurseries. I got another one that I want to show you at the bottom of this hill. This is here for two purposes. One is for erosion control, the other, pollinator habitat. Now this is a forest edge mix. This is a mix of plants. I put the larger seed on first. My neighbors watching me do this, they're probably thinking I'm a little on the weird side. I was just going back and forth, stomping in the dirt, compressing it, getting the seed to have a really good contact with the soil. You come down here and look at this, you're going to see that there is some real good germination happening. I mow this at the highest setting on my lawnmower. There is a lot of different stuff growing in what you might consider turf. Clovers, you're gonna find bittercress, you're gonna find dandelions. This is a biodiverse yard. You want biodiversity, but you also want connectivity, especially when it comes to insects. So I added a couple new trees to this yard as well. Your cherries, your oaks, your willows, those are gonna be the best plants to serve as hosts for hundreds and hundreds of species of butterflies and moths. Managing without pesticides, welcoming biodiversity, and improving connectivity for wildlife is what this little 1.2 acre piece of paradise is all about. Welcome to Tim and Lori Daly's farm just outside of Bankston, Iowa, and we are here for the field day that is being coordinated, hosted, facilitated by the Dubuque Soil and Water Conservation District.
This past fall, we created a new 2080 intergovernmental agreement to really look at how we're managing our watershed program in Dubuque County. Tim just talked a lot on planting into covers, planting green, and all the different benefits and uses that he's getting out of his cover crops. Economics, he talked yields. These farmer field days is for all of us to learn from each other. It's a place for farmers to come, ask questions, challenge each other, learn from each other, share information. That's what we're doing here today.
Today, what I'm going to talk about is soil health. There's some things we can't change. Slope, soil texture, do you have clay, do you have sand, do you have a loam? But there's things that you can change. Things like disturb the soil as little as possible. That's no-till, physical disturbance. There's also chemical disturbance. There's biological disturbance. We want to limit the frequency, the intensity, and the duration. Cover the soil. Cover crop is a great thing for soil health. Use plant diversity to increase diversity in the soil. These great soils that Iowa has, it developed under a very, very diverse ecosystem and set of plants. Grasses, forbs, legumes, trees, shrubs, you name it. That's why we have the great soil that we have. Incorporating animals into your system. The buffalo, they would roam the prairie, eat a bunch of grass, poop out the back, cycle nutrients. That's a good thing for the soil. That's how our soils develop. The more soil health principles you follow, you are building soil health, and it's a pretty cool thing.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, on today's Conservation Field Day here in Dubuque County. I want to thank our many partners with the City of Dubuque, with ISU Extension and Outreach, the Dubuque Soil and Water Conservation District, the Dubuque County Conservation Board, and the University of Northern Iowa Center for Energy and Environmental Education, the Good Neighbor Iowa program. Today, we covered a lot of different topics. We looked at pesticide reduction, we looked at urban habitat, we looked at community resiliency and flood mitigation practices, and we looked at agricultural conservation work being done to improve soil health and water quality. Now, if you are interested in learning more on how you can become a steward of the Mississippi River where you are, please visit One Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI.org, and become a river citizen today and help us protect our Mississippi River. Thank you so much, everyone.